Hello everyone and welcome. It's Chef Jason Morse, your Ace Hardware Grill expert, and we're hanging out in the backyard today, having a little barbecue fun on today's edition of Ace This Recipe video. And I'll tell you what, we're doing a little bacon wrapped pork tenderloin today, which we are excited about because we get to cook again on the Ironwood 885. And the beautiful thing about this Traeger grill is we're gonna start off with a little low and slow smoke to add some flavor to this pork tenderloin. Then we're gonna bacon wrap it, turn the Ironwood up to 450 and get a good sear on here. So let's walk through real quick some of the ingredients we're gonna use today. We're doing a really nice pork tenderloin. We're gonna show you how to get that all trimmed up and seasoned. We're doing a little thick slab bacon. We're actually going to, here it is. We're actually gonna rolling pin the bacon out to make it a little bit thinner so that when we wrap that pork tenderloin, we get nice crispy bacon. We're not left with a big, thick, fat chunk of bacon. We're gonna glaze it at the end with a little fire honey. We are going to season it up with some oink, and then we've got our low country barbecue sauce out because we're going to show you two ways. We're actually going to finish this and show you that beautiful bacon wrapped pork tenderloin whole, something you could serve at home for a dinner entree, or we're going to take some Dots pretzels, cut these into nice thick little discs, put a Dots pretzel in there, and make a fun appetizer as well. So today we're showing you two things which we think is pretty cool. So thanks for cooking with us. Let's get rolling here. We're going to show you how to fire up the Ironwood and get that ready. And then when we come back, we're going to hit the prep table and show you how to get all of this ready and set for today's recipe and today's video. Thanks for joining us. Let's get cooking. Well, we're cooking on the Traeger Ironwood 885 today. Definitely love this grill, all Wi-Fi, so we're actually going to use this probe today to track the temperature of our pork tenderloin while it makes its climb before we bacon wrap it and then sear it. First, we're going to start off with the Reserve Blend pellets. Absolutely my favorite, oak, apple, cherry. Totally love these pellets. We'll get these guys added in here, get this thing topped off, and then we're going to start this Ironwood up. And we're gonna go to 180. So 180 degrees today is gonna be our smoke temperature that we're gonna give this pork tenderloin a little smoke bath while we add some flavor in there and get it all set and ready. Then we'll bacon wrap it, sear it off at the end. So we'll go right up to 180. We'll get that all set, hit the ignite button, and we're ready to go. We've got it loaded with the Reserve Blend, getting ready and preheated for some smoke fun. We'll see you back at the prep table where we start getting this ready. The first part of this process is we took the pork tenderloin out of the package. We let it drain. We dried anything off or wiped anything off that was here for juices. And now we're going to trim all this silver skin off, right? This is a little bit of connective tissue that we want to get trimmed off. And what I'm going to do is use a thin blade and I'm going to get under that silver skin and almost tilt the knife up a little bit and run it along the top of the silver skin so that I'm not trimming off any meat. I'm going just with the connective tissue. There isn't a lot of trim work that has to be done to these tenderloins. We bought an all-natural pork tenderloin that didn't have any injections or solutions or anything. And now that I get it all done, I double check here, a little bit of fat we could probably peel off if we want, but that's about as good as it gets right there. Now, what we'll do is we're going to add this into the pan with the other pork tenderloin, and I'm going to use oil. Oil is very neutral. I like that because it doesn't put a flavor in here. If you use a mustard or a barbecue sauce or a hot sauce as your binder, I feel that sometimes that really affects the outside flavor that you're going to get at the very end. So now, put these guys together. We're gonna season as light or as heavy. We're using our oink rub today, so we'll season as light or as heavy as we want. That's the beauty of it. Now, we're gonna let this guy soak for a little bit. And we're probably gonna give this about a good 15 minutes or so to do its thing, to let this rub really work in there, but that's what we wanna get. We're looking for that beautiful finish, a nice amount of seasoning. Now we're gonna let it sit and let it soak. All right, we have the Ironwood all preheated and ready to go. We are rolling some smoke, that is for sure. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go up onto the top shelf up here because I want more smoke to really flow around this than anything. I've already got the probe plugged in. I'm gonna go into the thickest part of the pork tenderloin. I want as much of that probe buried as possible so I get a better reading. Now, this part is up to you. You can smoke for 45 minutes or 60 minutes, really depending on how much smoke flavor you want to get. I'm tracking the internal temperature because I want to take it to about 95 or 100 degrees through the smoke process. Then we'll pull it off, get it bacon wrapped, and be ready to sear it at the very end. Okay, let's take a little look here and see where we're at. And look at that beautiful amount of smoke. We are about 20 minutes in. Our internal temperature is up to about 68 degrees, so we'll keep this shut. And next up, we're gonna get ready to pull this off here at about the 45-minute mark and get ready to do a little bacon wrap. All right, smoke is done. So we smoked these guys about 45 minutes, and now we've started the bacon wrapping process. I've got these really cool picks here. What I like about these picks is, look at that. They are big. There is no losing that pick like you may a toothpick. So I like to make sure that I have something big, something I can see that's not gonna get lost in there. Now what I'm gonna do, again, I'll take a piece of bacon and I'm gonna rolling pin this out so it's a little bit thinner. That way I get a crispier bacon on the outside. What I did with the rolling pin, look at that. I wrapped it in plastic wrap so that I don't now have a bacon covered rolling pin. Then, what I'll do here is we're gonna look for the end, which is right there. We're gonna hook up with this guy here, and now carefully just wrap this all the way around like that. Now, one more piece for the end, just to get that little guy covered as well. But now, a couple decisions you have to make here. You can leave this alone and just do it this way, or you can add a little more seasoning to the outside of your bacon. I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it. The recipe kind of says you can do it either way. I'm going to leave it. That way I know I'm gonna finish this with a little fire honey at the end, and life is good. So what we'll do now is we'll turn the ironwood up to 450. Now, the beauty of that is we're gonna drive a good sear into this. We are definitely set and ready to go. The ironwood is all the way hot. It's 450 degrees. We've got our probe loaded in here because now we want to start tracking this temperature. And as you can see, we are on the bottom level of this cooking grates so that we get a really good hot sear. We'll go ahead and get this guy up there. Probably when it hits 120, 125 degrees, we'll flip it so we get a good sear on the bacon on the other side. But now we'll leave it alone, let it cook. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes. The cool thing again, guess what? Now I'm tracking this beautiful temperature on the app on my phone. Okay, let's take a quick check here and see what we've got. Go ahead and roll this guy over just a little bit. Oh, good, we're starting to get a little bit of sear on that bacon. So we'll go ahead and flip this one over as well and start to let that bacon fat get nice and I guess the relaxed is the best word. We want that bacon fat to relax, open up just a little bit, and then we'll start to get a good crust. So we are now at 110 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and let this go for another probably 25 degrees before we check it again. Internal temp on these guys is at 125, so let's go ahead and take a little of our fire honey now and baste this on here just to get a fun little glaze. I don't want to add so much on there that it all burns off and melts off on the side, but I want to add a fun little glaze to it. Now, another thing you could do too is, after your fire honey glaze, go ahead and just a little bit of oink over the top, and now you've got a nice little finish. All right, we took these off the Traeger, we rested them, we pulled them off at 150 degrees. We let them carry over just a little bit. These pork tenderloins aren't gonna carry a lot, actually only about 3 or 4 degrees. Then, like I said earlier, the great thing about these picks is I can see this. This is a large pick, unlike a toothpick that small. So we took all the picks out, we threw those guys away, and now we are set and ready to go and do a little sampling. As you can see here, we already did our Dots pretzel appetizer, right? So we've got our Dots pretzel as a handle into a nice piece of pork. That is a fun appetizer item as well. We've got this guy all rested, and we'll go ahead and slice it and get ready. And that is what we were looking for. We have a nice crisp piece of bacon on the outside because we rolled it thin. If you leave that bacon thick, it doesn't crisp up as nice, and I think it's an absolutely different product. So today's recipe is available for you down below. You can click on the name of this. You'll expand that category. You can click print and follow along. You get this recipe and more down below. And then while you're down there, don't forget to leave us a comment. Tell us what you like. What would you like to see? How can we be more helpful? And what do you want to see on our next Ace This Recipe video? And then while you're down there, don't forget, tell your friends, tell everyone it's time to hit that subscribe button. Enter your email address in there so that you can be notified when our next video is live and ready for your drooling pleasure. So I'm Chef Jason Morse, your Ace Hardware Grill expert. Thanks so much for cooking with us today here in windy, beautiful Colorado. It is time to do a little quality control. Make sure this came out perfect because we don't want to serve anything that's less than awesome. So cheers. Oh yeah, another good one.